Professor Zalthor stood at the front of the classroom, his forearms moving in careful patterns as he explained the battle strategy on the holographic display. The Galactic Military Academy's Advanced Tactics classroom held 200 cadets from 47 different species. Some had scales, others had fur, and a few glowed softly in the dim light. They all watched the professor with respect. Zalthor was a Xanthari, a species known for their brilliant military minds and their 4 hearts that kept them calm under pressure. The Krevnoth campaign failed because the commanders did not understand their enemy. Zalthor said, his voice carrying easily through the large room. They had better weapons. They had more ships, but they lost because they thought like Krevnoth, not like their opponents. Marcus Webb sat in seat 43A near the back of the room. He looked human with dark hair and tired eyes. He took notes on his tablet just like the other students. Nobody paid much attention to him. He was quiet, did his work, and never caused trouble. The door to the classroom suddenly opened. A small drone flew in, moving fast and direct. Its metal body was decorated with the symbols of the Galactic Federation Military Command. Red lights blinked on its surface, marking it as an official courier. Professor Zalthor stopped talking. 200 cadets turned to watch the drone. Official military couriers never came to classrooms. They went to offices, to commanders, to important people, never to students in the middle of a lesson. The drone stopped in the center of the room and projected a hologram. The seal of the Federation appeared, spinning slowly in the air. Then a voice spoke, clear and formal. Attention. This drone carries official military recognition. Clearance level, command authority. Please stand for the presentation. Everyone stood. The rustle of movement filled the room as cadets got to their feet, confused but obedient. The drone opened its storage compartment. Inside sat a medal on a blue velvet cushion. Even from far away, Marcus could see what it was. The silver nebula with quantum star. He had only seen pictures of it before. The medal looked like a silver starburst with a small quantum crystal in the center that seemed to contain an entire galaxy. The crystal shifted colors as it caught the light. The silver nebula with quantum star, whispered a Vex cadet sitting near Marcus. Her plant-like skin turned pale green with shock. Only 23 have ever been given, the drone's voice continued. This honor is awarded for extraordinary valor in combat. The recipient prevented an act of terrorism that would have resulted in interspecies war and the loss of approximately 4.7 million lives during the Proxima Dark Zone incident. Murmurs spread through the classroom. The Proxima Dark Zone incident had been in the news 3 weeks ago. A bomb had been found and disabled at a major peace conference. The news report said an unknown intelligence operative had saved everyone, but no names were released. The medal is awarded to, the drone paused, the unknown cadet currently seated in position 43A, Advanced Tactics Course 4701. Silence fell over the room. Every head turned to look at the back where seat 43A was located. They all looked at Marcus Webb. Marcus did not move. He sat very still, his face showing no emotion. He had known this was coming, but he had hoped for more time. Professor Zalthor's skin changed from its normal blue to a confused purple. There must be a mistake, he said to the drone. Seat 43A is listed as vacant in my roster. The drone flew directly to Marcus. It stopped in front of him, hovering at eye level. Please identify yourself for medal presentation. Marcus Webb, he said quietly. The drone scanned him with a blue light. Then it made a sound like confusion if machines could be confused. Biometric scan inconclusive. Identity verification failed. Federation database shows no match for this individual. Professor Zalthor walked quickly down the aisle between the seats. His forearms moved in agitation. What is the meaning of this? Who are you? My name is Marcus Webb, Marcus repeated. I've been attending this class all semester, Professor. You've graded my work. I sit in seat 43A. Show me your student identification, Zalthor demanded. Marcus reached into his pocket and pulled out an ID card. It looked official with the Academy logo and his picture. Zalthor took it and scanned it with his own device. His skin turned darker purple. This ID is real, he said slowly. But when I checked the Academy database, there is no Marcus Webb enrolled. Seat 43A shows as vacant. It has shown as vacant all semester. A Corthan cadet with 6 arms raised one of them. Professor, I've worked with Marcus on 3 group projects. He's real. He's been here. I studied with him for the midterm exam, added a Zelthian student, her 3 eyes blinking in confusion. He helped me understand quantum theory. More cadets spoke up. They all remembered Marcus. He had been there for every class, for group work, for study sessions. He was quiet, but he was always there. Professor Zalthor tapped his communication device. Security, this is Professor Zalthor in Advanced Tactics 4701. We have a situation that requires immediate attention. The drone continued to hover in front of Marcus. Unable to verify identity. Metal delivery cannot be completed without proper recipient identification. Initiating security protocol. Red lights began flashing throughout the classroom. A calm voice came over the speakers. Attention. Security lockdown initiated in Section 7, Classroom 4701. All personnel remain in current positions. Marcus finally stood up. He was not tall, not impressive looking. He looked like he had not slept well in a long time. But he stood straight and calm while chaos erupted around him. I can explain, he said. You will explain to Security Commander Thress, Zalthor said. His voice was firm but not angry. Until then, you will sit down and not move. Marcus sat back down in seat 43A. The drone remained hovering near him, the metal still displayed on its velvet cushion. The crystal in the center of the metal caught the light and sparkled with colors that seemed impossible. Heavy footsteps echoed in the hallway outside. The classroom door opened again, and Security Commander Thress entered. The Corthan was massive, with 6 powerful arms and dark gray skin covered in official security markings. 4 armed guards followed him, their weapons ready but not aimed at anyone. Thress looked at the drone, then at Marcus, then at Professor Zalthor. Someone want to tell me why a level Omega classified metal is being delivered to a student who doesn't exist? That is exactly what we would all like to know, Zalthor said. Thress walked to Marcus. His 6 arms crossed over his chest. Stand up, human, Marcus stood again. You're Marcus Webb? Thress asked. Yes, sir. And you've been attending this academy? Yes, sir. All semester. The database says you don't exist. I know, sir. You know? Thress's voice rose slightly. You know that you're not in our system and you've been attending classes anyway? Yes, sir. Thress looked at the metal still sitting in the drone's storage compartment. And somehow you earned the Silver Nebula with Quantum Star 3 weeks ago, during a classified incident in the Proxima Dark Zone. Marcus said nothing. He just met Thress's eyes calmly. I'm going to ask you one more time, Thress said slowly. Who are you really? Before Marcus could answer, the drone made a sound. Update received. Classified communication incoming. Clearance level. Admiral Command Authority. The hologram projector activated again. This time, instead of the Federation seal, a human woman appeared. She wore an admiral's uniform with 5 stars on her collar. Her gray hair was cut short and her eyes were sharp. Commander Thress, she said. This is Admiral Sarah Reeves, Human Intelligence Division. Do not detain that cadet. I'm on my way to the academy now. Nobody touches him until I arrive. That's an order. The hologram disappeared. The classroom was completely silent. 200 cadets stared at Marcus Webb, who still sat calmly in seat 43A, the seat that didn't exist, waiting for an admiral to arrive and explain how a student who wasn't real had saved nearly 5 million lives. Security Commander Thress had worked at the Galactic Military Academy for 15 years. He had dealt with cheaters, spies, and troublemakers of every species. But he had never dealt with someone who didn't exist. Marcus Webb sat in the security office and still calm, still quiet. Thress watched him through the one-way glass. 2 of his 6 arms crossed over his chest while the others worked on data tablets, pulling up every piece of information about the mysterious human cadet. Show me the classroom footage again, Thress said to his assistant. A young Vex named Chloris. The screen showed the advanced tactics classroom from 3 weeks ago. Marcus sat in seat 43A, taking notes. The footage looked normal. Thress changed to a different date. Marcus was there again, sitting in the same seat. Another date. There he was again. He's in every single recording, Chloris said, her voice confused. Every class session for the entire semester. But the attendance system shows seat 43A as empty every time. Thress pulled up Marcus's student work. Professor Zalthor had graded assignments from Marcus Webb. The grades were good, mostly high marks. There were comments from the professor, corrections, feedback. Everything looked normal. Run a biometric scan on the footage, Thress ordered. Chloris worked quickly. The computer analyzed Marcus's face from the recordings. Then it made an error sound. Sir, this is strange, she said. The biometric data keeps shifting. His features are there, but when the computer tries to lock onto them for identification, they blur. It's like he's there but not there at the same time, near. That's impossible, and I know, sir. But that's what the data shows. A knock came at the door. Commander Admiral Reeves has arrived. Thress straightened his uniform. An admiral coming personally to the academy was serious. An admiral from Human Intelligence Division was even more serious. He walked to the interview room where Marcus waited. Admiral Sarah Reeves stood next to Marcus. She was a small woman compared to Thress, but she had the presence of someone who commanded respect. Her uniform was perfect and her 5 stars gleamed under the lights. "Commander Thress," she said, offering her hand. Thress shook it carefully. Humans liked this greeting, though it seemed strange to species with more than 2 arms. "Admiral Reeves, perhaps you can explain what's happening here." "I can," she said. "But first I need you to understand that everything I'm about to tell you is classified at the highest level. Marcus Webb is one of my operatives. Everything he has done has been authorized by Human Intelligence Command." "An operative?" Thress looked at Marcus. "He's been attending classes at the academy." "Yes, he has," Reeves said, while also conducting deep cover operations in the field. Thress's skin changed to a dark, confused gray. "That's impossible. Nobody can be in 2 places at once. And even if they could, the mental strain would destroy their mind. Every species needs proper rest. Every species except humans," Marcus said quietly. It was the first time he had spoken in hours. Reeves nodded. "Commander, how much do you know about human sleep patterns?" "Basic biology. Humans need approximately 8 hours of rest per day, like most species." "That's what we let everyone believe," Reeves said. "But human sleep is different from other species. We don't need 8 hours all at once. Our brains developed to handle interrupted sleep. Ancient humans had to wake up during the night to watch for predators, to tend fires, to care for children. We evolved to function on broken rest periods." She pulled out a tablet and showed Thress a brain scan. "When most species sleep, their brain shuts down completely. They need that shutdown to survive. But human brains don't fully shut down. Parts stay active. We dream. We process information. We solve problems while we sleep. I still don't understand how this allows him to attend classes while on operations," Thress said. Marcus stood up. "May I explain, Admiral?" Reeves nodded. "For the past 11 months, I've been embedded with a terrorist group in the Proxima Dark Zone," Marcus said. His voice was steady but tired. "I lived with them, ate with them, pretended to believe their cause. My mission was to find out their plans and stop them. While doing this," he continued, "I was also attending the academy. During my rest periods, I used a neural link to connect my consciousness to a virtual presence here. My body slept in a safe house in Proxima. My mind attended classes." Thress's 6 arms waved in disbelief. "That would require splitting your consciousness. No species can do that and remain sane. Humans can," Marcus said. "Not easily. Not comfortably. But we can. Because we evolved to think even while we rest. Our dreams helped us survive. Now we've learned to use that ability." "Show him the Proxima Dark Zone report," Reeves said. Marcus pulled up a file on the room's main screen. Thress read it quickly, his skin changing colors as he absorbed the information. The terrorist group had planned to bomb the Proxima Peace Conference. The weapon was a quantum bomb, powerful enough to destroy the entire station and everyone on it. Delegates from 30 species were there. If they died, the fragile peace in the Proxima sector would collapse. War would follow. Millions would die. "I discovered their plan," Marcus said, "but I couldn't break cover. If they knew I was an operative, they would have changed everything. The bomb had already been placed. I had to find it and disarm it while pretending to be one of them. While attending your classes," Thress said slowly. "Yes, I had a final exam in advanced quantum theory the same day the bomb was set to explode. The exam was about quantum lock mechanisms. I realized the test problem was similar to the bomb's locking system." Marcus showed a split screen. On one side was his exam from 3 weeks ago. On the other side was a technical diagram of the bomb. "I solved the exam problem," Marcus said, "and the solution gave me the key to disarming the bomb. I had to do both at the same time. My body was in Proxima, diffusing a bomb that could kill millions. My mind was here taking a test." Thress sat down heavily. His 6 arms hung limply at his sides. "You're saying you saved 5 million lives while taking a final exam?" "He got a 98% on that exam," Reeves added. Lost points for messy handwriting. How many other humans are doing this? Thress asked. Reeves was quiet for a moment. 40 human operatives are currently attending the academy while deployed in the field. They're earning real degrees, learning real tactics while also serving on active missions. 40? Thress stood up fast. 40 students who don't exist in our system? This is the biggest security breach in Academy history. It's not a breach, Reeves said firmly. It's an operation. Every one of those operatives is serving the Federation. They're risking their lives and their sanity to keep the peace, and they're learning from the best military minds in the galaxy while they do it. But the deception was necessary, Reeves interrupted. If we had asked permission, the Council would have debated for years. They would have worried about fairness, about security, about whether humans were getting an unfair advantage. Meanwhile, bombs get planted, wars start, and people die. Thress looked at Marcus again. The young human looked exhausted. His eyes had dark circles under them. His hands trembled slightly. How long have you been splitting your consciousness? Thress asked him. 11 months for this mission, Marcus said. I sleep maybe 3 hours a night. The rest of the time I'm either in the field or in class. My neural link lets me attend virtually, but my brain does all the real work. That would kill most species. It's killing me too, Marcus said honestly. Just slower. Human bodies can take a lot of damage before they stop working. We're good at pushing past our limits, sometimes too good. Chloris, who had been listening quietly, spoke up. But why? Why do this to yourself? Marcus looked at her. Because someone has to. Because I can. Because 5 million lives are worth more than my comfort. That's insane, she whispered. Maybe, Marcus said. But that's humanity. We do insane things when we have to. We stay awake when our bodies scream for sleep. We keep fighting when logic says we should quit. We're not smarter than other species. We're not stronger, but we don't know when to give up. Thress turned to Admiral Reeves. The medal delivery has attracted attention. The Council will demand answers. You can't keep this secret anymore. I know, Reeves said. That's why I'm here. It's time to tell the truth, all of it. The Council will be furious, Thress warned. Let them be furious, Reeves said. We saved millions of lives. We've been serving the Federation faithfully, and we've proven that human capabilities are real, not cheating, not technology tricks. We're just using what evolution gave us. The Council meets tomorrow morning, Thress said. You'll need to present your case. We'll be ready, Reeves said. She looked at Marcus. You should rest. Real rest, not split consciousness. I still have homework due, Marcus said. Despite everything, Thress almost laughed. The human had saved millions of lives and was worried about homework. It was insane. It was admirable. It was very, very human. Your homework can wait, Reeves said firmly. That's an order, Lieutenant. Marcus nodded and finally allowed himself to look as tired as he felt. As guards escorted him to quarters where he could sleep, Thress watched him go. Commander, Chloris said softly. What do you think will happen? Thress looked at the medal still sitting in the courier drone, waiting to be officially presented. The silver nebula with quantum stars sparkled in the light. I think, he said slowly, that the galaxy is about to learn something about humans. And I'm not sure the Galactic Council chamber was built to impress. The ceiling stretched high above, showing a holographic display of the entire Federation. Thousands of stars sparkled in the darkness, representing member worlds. The chamber could hold 500 delegates, but today only the military council was present. 37 species sent their representatives to hear about the human situation. Admiral Reeves stood at the center speaking platform. Marcus Webb stood beside her in his dress uniform. The medal still had not been officially presented. It sat on a table in front of them, glittering under the chamber lights. Council Speaker Vornthak called the session to order. The Galaxian was ancient, his crystalline body showing the cracks of centuries. His voice echoed through the chamber with authority. Admiral Reeves, you have requested this emergency session. You claim that human operatives have been attending the military academy while simultaneously deployed on active missions. You claim this has been happening for 5 years. Explain yourself, Reeves stepped forward. Council Speaker, honored delegates, what I'm about to share will challenge your understanding of human capabilities. But every word is true, and every action taken has been in service to the Federation. She activated a holographic display. Images of 40 different humans appeared floating in the air. These are human intelligence operatives. Each one is currently serving in deep cover missions across Federation space. Each one is also attending the Galactic Military Academy, earning legitimate degrees in military strategy, xenodiplomacy, and advanced tactics. A Xanthari delegate stood up, his forearms waving in agitation. Impossible. No one can be in two places at once. This is deception. Not deception, Reeves said calmly. Biology. Humans have a unique capability that other species lack. Our sleep architecture allows us to split our consciousness while maintaining functionality in both states. Prove it, demanded a vexed delegate, her leaves rustling with doubt. Reeves nodded to Marcus. He stepped forward and began to speak. My name is Marcus Webb. For 11 months I was embedded with the Zelthian separatist movement in the Proxima Dark Zone. My body was there, living among them, but during what other species call rest periods, my consciousness attended classes here through neural link technology. Neural link technology allows this split? Asked a Corthan delegate. The technology helps, Marcus said. But the ability is biological. Human brains don't shut down completely during sleep. We dream, we process, we think. We evolved this way because our ancestors needed to stay partially aware even while resting. Predators hunted at night. Fires needed tending. Children needed protecting. So humans developed the ability to rest without being completely unconscious. This still sounds like technology, not biology, the Xanthari delegate insisted. Professor Chen walked to the platform. She was human, elderly, with white hair and sharp eyes. She taught xenopsychology at the academy. May I present evidence? She asked. Vornthak nodded. Every species here needs consolidated rest periods, Chen began. Xanthari need 10 hours of complete shutdown. Corthan need 12. Vex need 14 hours of photosynthetic rest. During these periods, your brains completely stop conscious function. You must do this or you die. She showed brain scans from different species. During sleep, the scan showed minimal activity. Now look at a human brain during sleep. She showed Marcus's brain scan. Colors flashed across different sections. See this activity? This is REM sleep, rapid eye movement. During this phase, humans dream. We solve problems. We process emotions. We consolidate memories. Our brains are working even while our bodies rest. But dreaming is not the same as being conscious, pointed out a delegate from the kill species. You're right, Chen said. But humans can train themselves to maintain partial consciousness during these periods. It's not perfect. It's not comfortable. But it's possible. We call it split consciousness, but it's really more like task switching at a neurological level. Task switching would still require technology. The Xanthari delegate argued. Then test us without technology, Marcus said. Everyone turned to look at him. Put me in a situation where I have to do multiple things at once with no technological help. Just my human brain. If I can do it, you'll have your proof that this is biological, not technological. The chamber erupted in discussion. Delegates argued with each other in dozens of languages. Vornthak had to call for order 3 times. This is unprecedented, Vornthak said. But the situation requires unprecedented measures. Admiral Reeves, if we test your operative and he fails, what then? Then we accept that the neural link technology was doing more than we thought, Reeves said. And we shut down the program. But if he succeeds, the Council must recognize this as a legitimate human capability. And if we recognize it as legitimate? Asked a delegate. Then we establish protocols, Reeves said. Humans doing this work will be registered. We'll be transparent. But we won't stop. This capability has saved lives. It will save more lives in the future. A Galaxian military commander spoke up. His crystalline voice was sharp. I find this entire situation disturbing. You're saying humans can function while sleep-deprived, can split their attention across multiple tasks, and can push their bodies past normal limits. How do we know you're not training super soldiers? How do we know this isn't a threat to other species? Reeves turned to face him directly. Commander Zexthal, I understand your concern. But consider this. Every species in the Federation has unique capabilities. Xanthari have 4 hearts, giving them redundancy other species lack. Corthan have 6 arms for natural multitasking. Vex can photosynthesize, reducing their need for supply chains. Kill can survive in vacuum for short periods. Each species brings their biology to warfare. Humans bring persistence and adaptability. But your persistence seems like madness, Zexthal said. You push yourselves until you break. That's not admirable. That's dangerous. It's both, Marcus said quietly. Every human in this program knows the cost. We age faster. We damage our bodies. Some of us will die young because of what we're doing, but we choose it anyway because the alternative is worse. What alternative? Asked a young Vex delegate. Watching people die when we could have stopped it, Marcus said. I was in position to stop that bomb in Proxima because I could be in 2 places at once. If I hadn't been attending the academy, I wouldn't have learned the quantum theory that helped me disarm it. If I hadn't been embedded with the terrorists, I wouldn't have known where the bomb was. Both things were necessary, and being human made both things possible. Vornthak tapped his crystal hand on the podium, creating a sound like distant thunder. The council will vote on the testing proposal. Those in favor of testing this human capability without technology. Hands, claws, and appendages rose throughout the chamber. The vote was nearly unanimous. Very well, Vornthak said. We will design a test. 3 simultaneous challenges over 72 hours. No technology assistance. The human will rely only on his natural capabilities. He looked at Marcus. If you fail, you prove nothing. If you succeed, you prove that humans are either extraordinary or insane. Perhaps both. Perhaps both, Marcus agreed. The session ended. As delegates filed out, many of them stared at Marcus and Admiral Reeves. Some looked curious. Others looked worried. A few looked frightened. Professor Zalthor approached them. Cadet Webb, he said formally. I must apologize. I have taught you all semester and never realized what you were doing. The multitasking, the ability to switch between topics quickly, the way you could take an exam while clearly exhausted and still perform well. I thought you were simply a good student. I didn't realize you were doing something impossible. Not impossible, Professor, Marcus said. Just human? Yes, Zalthor said slowly. Just human. I'm beginning to understand that this phrase means something different than I thought. Security Commander Thress walked over with several other guards. We need to prepare the testing facility. Cadet Webb, you should rest before we begin. I'll rest when I'm done, Marcus said. That's exactly what we're afraid of. Thress muttered. Admiral Reeves put a hand on Marcus's shoulder. Get some sleep, Lieutenant. Real sleep. You're going to need it. Marcus nodded. As he left the chamber with the guards, he heard the delegates still talking behind him. Words like impossible and dangerous and remarkable floated through the air. Professor Chen joined Admiral Reeves. Do you think he can do it? 72 hours of split focus without the neural link? I don't know, Reeves admitted. The neural link helps with the connection, but the actual capability is all his. If any human can prove this, it's Marcus. He's been doing it longer than most. And if he can't? Reeves looked at the medal on the table, still waiting to be awarded. Then we've just proven that humanity's greatest strength is also our greatest weakness. We think we can do anything, so we try anyway. Sometimes we succeed. Sometimes we destroy ourselves trying. That doesn't sound like a survival trait, Chen said. No, Reeves agreed. It sounds like madness, but it's kept humans alive for millions of years. We're the species that looked at fire and decided to control it. We're the species that looked at the ocean and decided to cross it. We're the species that looked at space and decided. The testing facility was built deep under the academy. 3 separate rooms connected to a central observation chamber, where the council delegates watched on multiple screens. Each room contained a different challenge, and Marcus would have to handle all 3 at the same time for 72 hours straight. Room 1 held a desk, a chair, and a computer terminal. The advanced quantum mechanics examination was already loaded. 200 questions that would take most students 8 hours of focused work to complete. Room 2 was a combat simulation chamber. Holographic enemies would attack. The environment would change. Marcus would have to fight, survive, and complete tactical objectives while exhausted and distracted. Room 3 contained a diplomatic simulation. Holographic alien representatives would negotiate with him. He would need to read their body language, understand their cultural expectations, and reach agreements that satisfied everyone. One wrong word could end the simulation in failure. The rules are simple, Security Commander Thress explained. Marcus stood in the center of the observation chamber, looking at screens showing all 3 rooms. You can move between rooms whenever you want, but all 3 scenarios run in real time. If you're taking the exam, the combat simulation continues without you. If you're fighting, the diplomats wait but get impatient. You must complete all 3 challenges within 72 hours. No neural link, confirmed a Zenthari observer. No stimulants. No technology assistance. Just you and your human brain. Understood, Marcus said. He looked tired already. Admiral Reeves had ordered him to sleep for 12 hours before the test, but everyone could see the exhaustion in his eyes. 11 months of split consciousness had taken their toll. You may begin, Vornthak announced. Marcus walked into room 1 and sat at the desk. He read the first question on the quantum mechanics exam. It was about wave function collapse in multidimensional space. He started writing his answer, but on the screen showing room 2, the combat simulation activated. Holographic enemies appeared, moving through a ruined city environment. They were searching for him even though he wasn't there yet. Marcus wrote faster. He completed 3 questions in 10 minutes, then stood up and ran to room 2. The simulation put him immediately in danger. Enemy fire came from 2 directions. Marcus dove behind cover, pulled a simulated weapon, and returned fire. His movements were fast but not perfect. A shot grazed his shoulder, and the simulation registered pain. He fought for 15 minutes, completing the first tactical objective by securing a building. Then he ran back to room 1. The exam waited. He had 3 questions done out of 200. He sat down and started writing again, his hands still shaking from the adrenaline of combat. On another screen, room 3 activated. Holographic diplomats appeared. They were kill representatives known for their impatience. They stood waiting, their crystalline bodies shifting colors to show annoyance. Marcus kept writing. Question 4. Question 5. Question 6. The combat simulation showed more enemies entering the area he'd just secured. If he didn't go back soon, he'd lose his progress. He ran to room 2, fought for 10 minutes, then ran to room 3. You finally arrive, the lead kill diplomat said coldly. We have been waiting. This shows disrespect. My apologies, Ambassador, Marcus said, breathing hard from running. I'm handling multiple urgent situations. Please tell me your concerns. He spent 20 minutes in diplomatic negotiation, learning what the kill wanted, what they would accept, what they considered insulting. Then he excused himself and ran back to room 1. The observers watched in silence. This was Marcus's strategy. Rotate between tasks, giving each one attention but never full focus. It seemed chaotic, almost random, but slowly, progress happened in all 3 rooms. He's not doing them efficiently, noted the Zenthari observer. A logical approach would be to complete one task fully, then move to the next. But he can't, Professor Chen said from the observation area. The combat simulation won't pause. The diplomats won't wait forever, and the exam has a time limit. He has to balance all 3. No species should be able to balance all 3, the Zenthari said. The cognitive load is too high. Hours passed. Marcus continued his rotation. Exam questions, combat encounters, diplomatic conversations. He didn't sleep. He barely drank water. On the screens, observers could see him getting slower, making small mistakes. At hour 24, he stumbled while running between rooms. He caught himself on a wall, breathing hard. He's going to collapse, predicted the kill observer. But Marcus didn't collapse. He straightened up and kept moving. Room 1, right answers. Room 2, fight enemies. Room 3, negotiate terms. At hour 30, something changed. The observers noticed it first. Look at his pattern, Professor Zalthor said, pointing at the screens. He's not thinking about which room to go to anymore. He's moving automatically, it was true. Marcus's rotation between rooms had become rhythmic. He spent exactly 12 minutes on the exam, 15 minutes in combat, 20 minutes on diplomacy, then back to the exam. The same pattern over and over. He's put himself into a routine, Admiral Reeves said. He's not deciding anymore. He's just doing. How is that helpful? Asked a delegate. He's not focusing on any task fully. He's not trying to focus fully, Chen explained. He's letting his subconscious handle some of the work. Humans can do that. We call it autopilot. When you do something enough times, your brain stops needing full attention to do it. At hour 40, Marcus's eyes started to close during the exam. His head would drop, then snap back up. He was falling asleep while writing. This is dangerous, Thress said. His body is shutting down. Let him continue, Reeves said firmly. If he wants to stop, he'll stop. But Marcus didn't stop. Even while his eyes closed for seconds at a time, his hand kept writing. The answers he wrote made sense. When he jerked awake, He would read what he'd written, nod, and continue. "He's answering questions while asleep," whispered a Vex observer. "That's impossible." "That's human," Chen said. "Our brains process information during sleep." He's so exhausted that he's slipping into microsleeps, but his brain is still working on the problems. At hour 45, Marcus took his first real break. He sat on the floor in room 1 and closed his eyes. The observers thought he was quitting. He slept for exactly 20 minutes. When he woke, he immediately stood up and went to the exam. He read through his previous answers, made a few corrections, then continued with new questions. He dreamed about the exam, Chen said with certainty. During that nap, his brain was processing the questions. When he woke up, he had new insights. The combat simulation grew harder. More enemies, more complex objectives. Marcus fought with the efficiency of someone who'd done it 1,000 times. His movements were economical, almost mechanical. He wasn't thinking about fighting anymore. His body just knew what to do. In room 3, the diplomatic negotiations reached a critical point. The Kill were ready to walk away. Marcus had to offer them something valuable or the entire simulation would fail. He sat across from them, exhausted, covered in sweat from running between rooms, and he said something that made the observers lean forward in surprise. "Ambassador, in the combat scenario next door, I'm fighting enemies who want to destroy a city. In the exam, I'm answering questions about quantum mechanics. And here I'm talking to you about trade agreements. Do you know what all 3 have in common?" The Kill diplomat looked confused. "Nothing, exactly," Marcus said. "Nothing connects them except me. I'm doing all 3 at once because I have to, not because it makes sense. Just like your people and mine have nothing in common, except that we both exist in the same galaxy. We don't need perfect understanding. We just need to agree that cooperation is better than fighting." The Kill were silent. Then the lead diplomat changed color to a warmer shade. "You are strange, human, but you speak truth. We accept your terms." At hour 60, Marcus had completed 70% of the exam, 80% of the combat objectives, and successfully concluded the diplomatic negotiation. He was so tired he could barely walk. "He's gonna finish," Reeves said quietly. "He's actually going to do it." At hour 68, Marcus answered the last exam question. He stood up, swayed, then walked to room 2. He completed the final combat objective by eliminating the last enemy position. The simulation ended with a success message. 3 challenges, all completed. With 4 hours to spare, Marcus walked back to the observation chamber. Every delegate stood up as he entered. He looked like death. His uniform was soaked with sweat. His eyes were bloodshot. His hands shook constantly. "Report, Cadet Webb," Vornthak said formally. "All objectives completed, sir," Marcus said. His voice was hoarse. "Exam finished. Combat simulation successful. Diplomatic negotiation successful. How did you do it?" asked the Zenthari observer. "The cognitive load should have destroyed your mind." Marcus swayed but stayed standing. "I stopped trying to do everything perfectly. I let my brain handle what it could handle automatically. The exam questions started looking familiar, because I'd been dreaming about them. The combat moves became muscle memory. The diplomacy was just talking while exhausted, which is something humans do all the time." "You slept during the exam," pointed out the Kill observer. "While writing? Microsleeps," Marcus said. "My brain shut down for seconds at a time, then came back. It's inefficient, but Marcus woke up in the medical bay 3 days later. The first thing he saw was white ceiling tiles and the soft blue glow of medical monitors. His body felt heavy, like someone had filled his bones with concrete. "Easy," said a voice. Dr. Hesse, a Vex medical officer, placed a gentle branch-like hand on his shoulder. "You've been sleeping for 70 hours. Your body finally gave up after the test. Did I pass?" Marcus asked. His throat was dry. "You passed," Hesse said, her leaves rustling with amusement. "You also damaged your body significantly. Exhaustion injuries, stress fractures in your bones, early signs of neurological strain. You humans really don't know when to stop." "We know," Marcus said quietly. "We just don't stop anyway." Admiral Reeves entered the room. She looked tired too, but satisfied. "Welcome back, Lieutenant. The Council has been debating for 3 days straight. They finally reached a decision this morning." Marcus tried to sit up. Every muscle protested, but he managed it. "What did they decide?" "You're going to want to be standing for this," Reeves said. With Hesse's help, Marcus got out of bed. His legs shook, but he stood at attention as best he could. Admiral Reeves smiled. The Galactic Federation Council has officially recognized human split consciousness capability as a legitimate biological trait. It's not cheating. It's not technology. It's evolution. Marcus let out a breath he didn't know he was holding. However, Reeves continued, there are new rules. The human doctrine, they're calling it. All human operatives using split consciousness must be registered. No more ghost students. When you're attending classes while deployed, everyone needs to know. That makes sense, Marcus said. There's more. The Federation is creating a new branch of military psychology, specifically to study human persistence warfare. They want to understand how we do what we do. Professor Zalthor is leading the program. He must love that, Marcus said. He's terrified and fascinated at the same time, Reeves said with a grin. But the biggest news is this. You and the other 40 operatives are being officially graduated from the Academy. You've earned your degrees, and you're getting your medals in a public ceremony. Marcus blinked. Public? The Council decided that hiding what happened sends the wrong message. They want the Federation to know that humans have unique capabilities, and that these capabilities serve everyone. 2 weeks later, Marcus stood in his dress uniform on a platform in the Academy's main square. The other 39 human operatives stood with him, all wearing their best uniforms, all looking tired but proud. Behind them, the regular Academy graduates filled the square, thousands of cadets from dozens of species. The ceremony was broadcast across the entire Federation. Billions watched as Council Speaker Vornthak approached the platform. Today we honor those who served in 2 places at once. His voice echoed across the square. These humans did what we thought impossible. They studied warfare while conducting it. They learned diplomacy while preventing catastrophe. They earned their education through sacrifice and determination. One by one, the human operatives received their graduation certificates. When Marcus's name was called, he walked forward. Vornthak handed him his certificate, then picked up the medal that had started everything. The silver nebula with Quantum Star gleamed in the sunlight. For extraordinary valor during the Proxima Dark Zone incident, Vornthak said formally. For preventing interspecies war and saving approximately 4.7 million lives. For proving that impossible is just a word, not a limit. He pinned the medal to Marcus's chest. The weight of it felt strange, heavy and light at the same time. The square erupted in applause. But it wasn't just the humans clapping. Centauri delegates stood and raised their forearms. Korthan cadets drummed their 6 hands together. Vex rustled their leaves in appreciation. Even the stern kill observers showed approval. After the ceremony, Professor Zalthor found Marcus in the crowd. Cadet Webb, he said, then corrected himself. Lieutenant Webb, I owe you an apology. For what, Professor? For not seeing you. You sat in my classroom all semester. You participated, you learned, you asked good questions. And I never realized you were doing something extraordinary. I thought you were just another student. I was just another student, Marcus said. That's what made it work. I wasn't trying to be special. I was just trying to learn and do my job at the same time. Zalthor's skin shifted to a thoughtful purple. I've been asked to lead the human persistence warfare study. I have to admit, your species frightens me a little. We frighten ourselves sometimes, Marcus admitted. But I'm also fascinated. You see, we Centauri pride ourselves on our strategic minds. We plan carefully, we think ahead, we never act without considering all options. But you humans have taught me something. Sometimes the best strategy is to just keep going when everyone else would stop. There's no algorithm for that. No formula. Just determination. Is that what you'll teach other species? Marcus asked. No, Zalthor said. I don't think we can teach determination. It's something you either have or you don't. But we can teach respect for it. We can help other species understand that humanity's strength isn't that you're superior, it's that you're stubborn. And in a dangerous galaxy, stubbornness might be the most valuable trait of all. Marcus smiled. I'll take stubborn over superior any day. Later that evening, Marcus returned to the Advanced Tactics classroom one final time. He stood in the doorway looking at seat 43A. Someone had installed a small plaque on the chair. In recognition of Lieutenant Marcus Webb and all personnel who serve in 2 places at once. Their sacrifice reminds us that limits exist to be challenged. They moved quickly on that, said a voice behind him. Marcus turned to see a young woman in a cadet uniform. She looked tired, with dark circles under her eyes that he recognized immediately. You're one of us, he said, Sarah Chen, she introduced herself. Human Intelligence Division, embedded with a smuggling ring on the outer rim. Also a second-year student in Tactical Systems Analysis. How's it going? Marcus asked. Exhausting, she said honestly. But worth it. I heard what you did, proving we're not cheating. That makes it easier for the rest of us. Just don't push too hard, Marcus warned. I damaged my body pretty badly. Dr. Hesse says I'll recover, but I aged myself by years doing this. I know the risks, Sarah said. We all do. But someone has to do it, right? Might as well be us, Marcus nodded. He understood. Every human in the program understood. They were sacrificing their health, their youth, their peace of mind to serve the Federation. Not because they were forced to, because they chose to. Good luck, he told her. You too, Lieutenant. Marcus left the classroom and walked across the Academy grounds. The twin moons of the Academy planet hung in the sky, casting silver light across the buildings. Cadets from a dozen species walked past him, some saluting, some just nodding in respect. He thought about Professor Zalthor's words. Humanity wasn't superior. They were just different. They could endure things other species couldn't. They could push through exhaustion and pain and keep functioning. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't efficient. But it worked. Admiral Reeves found him sitting by one of the Academy fountains watching the water flow. How does it feel? She asked. Being famous? Strange, Marcus admitted. I didn't do it to be famous. I did it because it needed doing, I know. That's what makes you dangerous. Reeves sat down next to him. The Council is still nervous about humans. They're worried we'll use our persistence to dominate other species. We won't, Marcus said, I know that. You know that. But they don't, not yet. We have to prove it every day. We have to show them that our determination serves everyone, not just ourselves. No pressure, Marcus said dryly. Reeves laughed. You just saved 5 million lives while taking a final exam. I think you can handle a little pressure. They sat in silence for a while, watching the fountain. Other graduates walked past, some celebrating, some quiet, all thinking about their futures in the vast galaxy. What happens now? Marcus asked. Now you rest. Real rest, not split consciousness rest. Then you take a new assignment, one where you're only in one place at a time. You've earned that much, and the program, it continues. With new protocols, new oversight, but it continues. There are threats out there that need people who can be in 2 places at once. People who refuse to give up. People like you. Marcus looked at his medal, still pinned to his chest. The quantum crystal in its center sparkled with impossible colors. You know what's funny? He said. Before all this, I was worried about failing my classes. I thought I wasn't smart enough for the academy. And now? Now I know intelligence isn't about being smart. It's about refusing to quit when things get hard. Every species here is smarter than humans in some way. Centauri strategy, Corthan multitasking, Vex patience. We can't compete with any of them on their terms. So you compete on your own terms, Reeves finished. Exactly. We're the species that keeps going. That's not always a good thing. Sometimes it's stupid. Sometimes it's dangerous. But sometimes it's exactly what's needed. A group of cadets approached them, not humans. A Centauri, 2 Corthan, a Vex, and a Kill. They stopped a respectful distance away. Ludio,